Hello and welcome to yet another episode on Beyond the Books. As you all know, Beyond the Books is an innovative talk show that was created to afford us the platform to discuss issues ranging from life, law, education, and social issues. And today, myself being the host, and my name is Usman Ilyas, and we are privileged to be having an erudite couple here with us today who are both high esteemed personalities in the area of public relations. And I'm promising you that this evening our engagement is going to be so fruitful. So thank you for being with us, and I would love you to help me welcome Dr. Andy Iheme. Daddy, you are welcome, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, sir. And Dr. Moji Iheme, the wife to Daddy. Mommy, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
This evening, before we go into the talk proper, I would love to give us a little bio sketch of our personalities here. Dr. Andy Iheme is a renowned person in the public relations space with decades of experience, and today he is here to give us all the insights and experience he has achieved over many years as a figure in that space. And we are also privileged to be having Mommy also with us here, who is also a personality in that area. So I want you all to be set and put for this very occasion. So before we go into discourse proper, I would love to give us a little insight into what this discussion for tonight is all about. We are here to discuss about um, finding the balance between family, culture, and career. And these three areas rather are areas that concerns us as individuals in the society. And I believe with the wealth of knowledge Daddy and Mommy will be sharing with us tonight, it will go a long way to assist us all. How do you or how have you been able to find this balance between family and career for this so long?
My parents were a very good, excellent example of what a married life. So I picked a lot from them. They were married for over 50 years before they died. And I picked a lot from them. One thing I learned from my father, who rose up to the rank of sports manager in Nigerian MPA, was that he never brought work home. You know, he never brought work home. Every work stopped in the office, and home was for family. So I learned that. And again, I I am aware of the fact that for every for every love experience like marriage, there are certain languages that are spoken. Is for you to understand the love language of your partner and speak that language often. There are five of them, and these are fairly well known. The two that resonate very much with my wife is gift and quality time. My wife likes to be, she likes my company, and I'm always in her company. For most people who know us, they will tell you we are like Siamese twins. When it was time for us to buy cars in our working career, she would have bought her own car, but we decided just to have one car
Wow.
so that we can be together. We'll drop her at work and bring her back and all such things. And my wife likes gifts. So each time I travel, each time I have some money, I make sure I buy my wife uh, some gifts. And I've realized that family is everything. That after you have received all the buffeting, all the harassment and wahala outside the family home, when you come home, it should be a place for you to relax, raise your legs up, and chat and enjoy your kids. We made our kids our friends, so we could stay and chat and discuss anything and laugh. Humor is part of it. We know how to laugh a lot in this family, and so that's the balance. I never compromise my family time with the work. No, no way. And once it is time, sometimes I stay up to 2 a.m. in the office working. But I finish it there and come home. I know that home is entirely for my family. I don't compromise that.
Wow, thank you so much
Yeah,
for that.
yeah.
I think from what you said, I've been able to fetch from it that there was never a time you brought work home
No.
and family was priority. So
Hmm.
that means it has to be distinct. When it's work, it is work, and when it's family, it is family.
Hmm.
Thank you so much for that. I think for don't bring work home. Before I come to mommy, since that day I'm still with you, thank you for that brief insight. I would love to ask, because from what you said, it was just giving us that understanding that work has to be work and family has to be family. And you have also applauded that gift matters. And that I believe with mommy being the recipient, she will have to attest for us. Now, I don't know, within that period, sir, has there been any challenge as to, because between these two, there's a line. So has there been any time that work was challenging so much that even as you try to avoid bringing it home, it got so serious that
Yeah.
you had to compromise at any point?
Yeah, there are times. I've always had a study in the house, but the study is mainly not necessarily for office work. I do a lot of, I have a lot of speaking engagements here and there. I do such things. am a member of my professional body and I chair certain committees. So when I go into the study, and I've been able to also write two books. One has been published, the other one is in the works. So I do some work there. But there are times when there are certain exigencies when my principal will have to call me sometime 10 in the night that that the speech has to be ready for a program by 10 in the morning and I'm already at home. So yes, the line is when I say I don't bring work at home, it doesn't. It's not as if that is cast in steel or concrete.
Right?
There's still some elbow room where you can do things, but the understanding is there that home is a place for family matters. So whenever such things come up, yes, there's an elbow room. I can always find time to go to the study and do one or two things for that is office related. But I try to make it clear that that line exists
All right.
because I've seen it in a lot of people who close from work by 5, they bring files home
Yeah.
and work till 10 at night. So there's no time for family. No, that's not my case.
All right. Well, I want to question and say that with your specialty in art and as a person in the public relations space also, have you been able to see that, or how would you communicate it to the audience now that one of the things that could promote family and make work easy is the bond, the companionship that is extended beyond just mere relationship, which is the gift giving and the gift receiving. How would you outline this as a factor for sustainable family growth and work at the same time?
Well, I believe that a family or in a relationship,
Yes, ma'am.
it's it's a give and take thing.
Yeah.
So if love gives,
Yes.
if you love somebody, you give them something.
Yeah.
But if you say you love somebody and it never occurs to you to give them something, then do you really love them? Because I believe I used to travel a lot for business,
Wow.
but when I'm out, most things I see reminds me of Andy, and I want to get it for him
Wow. Wow.
and for the children. So I can't imagine that he goes somewhere
Yes, ma'am.
and then he comes back without a gift for me. So I think in a relationship, when they say give and take, apart from emotional give and take, there's physical give and take. Because if you can give physically, you can give emotionally.
Yes, sir.
And I mean, I don't say where you say, hey, after all, I give you gifts and then you abuse emotionally.
Emotional.
So there should be a balance. Giving, loving is about giving because when you love somebody, you're giving a part of yourself. So, like he talks of work and all that. I've worked all our married life,
Wow.
but there are occasions that I'll drop work for family.
Yeah.
I mean, there are places I know I could have been promoted, I could have risen higher.
Wow.
But when I consider my family circumstances, I'll give up the work on my own to stay
Family.
with my family because it's good that the family is a family that stays together. We progress together.
Thank you so much, mommy, for that. I hope we are following up. It's a give and take. So now, beyond love and beyond giving and beyond taking, how have you been able in your own capacity to support daddy, both at family level and at work?
Well, the good thing about us is we met, I would say, at a public space.
Wow.
He was working in NTA and had just moved to a public relations position in the poly when I came in to NTA. So we're both media people, so we could work together. When I have challenges, like a few times before we even got married, I was editing and I was news editor at NTA, and I used to act.
Wow.
So he came and told me that, hey, it doesn't really look good that I'm reading the news the next minute. Maybe I'm acting one comedy and the next thing. So we advise each other.
Okay.
If he wants to write something, as he's writing, he'll ask, how does this sentence feel? Is it okay? I'll say yes. If I have challenges. So because we're in kind of in the same space,
Yes.
we complemented each other.
Wow.
So we had each other's back.
Moving forward, now we have been speaking about family, we have been talking about work. And our theme for this discussion is how to find the balance between family, culture, and career. So I would love to quickly move to how can culture now come into this? Because these are two individuals from different walks of life, and then you met at a space that has given you that springboard to go further. So now, Daddy, please, I would love to take this for you. Sorry. Um, how has your culture as an individual influenced not just the family, but also work? And how has this been able to be sustained over this long time?
Thank you very much. Let me just add a bit to what she said before
Okay.
I,
Okay.
about ourselves being supportive.
All right.
Studies have shown that couples over time begin to think like one another.
Wow.
The chairs before I got this settees in my office was done by a woman at Bakinkora who had just come in as a young bride to the husband here in Bauchi. And each time the husband, if a furniture maker was going to the office, she went with him.
Wow.
And over time, she learned what was a saw, what was nail, and all that. And when the man died, the woman just became one of the best carpenters in town
Really?
just by seeing the man and thinking.
Observing?
Yes, I have a friend in town who is a doctor. The wife is not, but each time they sit at home and patients come with particular ailments for the kids,
Yes, sir.
she will hear the husband prescribe things
Wow.
after listening. And an emergency came one day, the man was not in. It was a matter of life and death.
Okay.
And instead of just telling the people, sorry, he's not in, she said, well, this is what he has always done. This is an emergency situation. Can you go get this drug, get this drug? So over time, when you sit, listen to the conversations of your husband here or your wife here. My mother was a hairdresser,
Wow.
and all of us as kids, I knew how to comb. I knew how to set rollers on wig. I know how to comb out wig.
Wow.
All of us knew how to style wig. I know how to do pedicure. I know how to do manicure by
Wow.
the reason of association.
Association.
So studies have shown that when you are closely related to such people, you learn. Regarding the culture you spoke about, yes. If you watch in Nigeria, it will look as if certain traits are peculiar to certain tribes. You know, uh, Igbos are the spare part dealers, Yorubas are the taxi drivers, the women sell plastics, the Hausa ones are the ones who are the butchers, they're the ones who sell suya, the Igbos drive luxury buses, Hausas drive trailers, and such things. It will look as if, so you see, when certain people come out from certain tribes and seem to be making it in a particular trade,
Yes.
people flock to that trade.
Exactly.
And over time, it looks as if it's peculiar to that tribe, to that culture.
Okay.
But again, you see, there is a mass culture that has developed. I wasn't raised in the village. Through education, which is a form of culture,
Yes.
through travel, which is a bigger culture,
Culture.
through exposure and interaction with people from other tribes and places, what you may call an urban culture or universal culture has developed.
Yes. has.
Aha. So, if you tell me those you mix with, those you hang out with, those you're always with, it's possible to tell what your inclinations will be.
Okay.
Um, so you find out that, and the examples you have before us, you find out that people tend to, if there's an area where people are doing well,
Yes.
the students want to flock.
Plug into that
Everybody
space.
wants to read electrical engineering.
Mhm.
Nobody wants to study botany. Nobody wants to study Hausa, Igbo, or Yoruba. Once they see people are doing well, they look at the car you drive, they look at the house you live in. If you're doing well, people tend to flock to that area.
Yes.
So that you may not call culture, you may just see that as a trend.
Yes.
Culture is a form of trend because it's a way of doing things.
Yes. Yes.
So when you find, and sometimes our religious beliefs also determine our culture. If your religion prescribes a way for you to dress, it follows that there are certain professions you may not be able to do by the way, because of the reason of how you are dressed.
Yes. Yes.
If you want to do that profession very well, you may have to adjust a little bit.
Yes.
If the culture said I must tie turban
Yes.
and wear babariga, and if I don't dress that way, I'm going outside my religious beliefs. Then maybe studying things like engineering may be a problem for
Yeah,
me
exactly.
because I need to climb ladder and other things.
Yes.
So I think the urban culture is what operates these days more or less. The examples we see in other people, a lot of people my generation didn't want to be teachers
Wow.
because they felt those days when they were not paying teachers in Nigeria, so people just were discouraged. But so what determines what people do really is the trend. What is trending? These days, all of you, a lot of young people are into AI, are into the digital space and all that because they have seen it pays.
Yes.
So it has become a culture
Yes.
among the Gen Z generation.
Not to go out of the discussion, but I would love to still get your insight. Many years before now, there was narrative that the southerners, the easterners, moved towards the northern part of the country because there was this narrative that things are cheaper here, life is more affordable here, and a lot goes well. And looking at the situation of the country at the moment, with that belief, are we still having it as the same, or what has changed over time, sir? Do you have any comment on that regard?
It hasn't changed.
Okay.
You know, certain people, by the reason of their socio-economic circumstances in their home base, are more itinerant
Yes.
than the others.
Yes.
You notice that people usually, in those days when people were migrating and looking for space, water was the major reason. Wherever there was water, there will be
The
human
human settlement.
settlement. That's the way it works. For me, why I left the East to come to the North was based on the NYSC,
Wow.
which is a good thing. When I heard that Nigeria wants to abolish NYSC, I weep because this is one area where this is one instrument Nigeria has used in exposing her youth. Ordinarily, most people won't want to go out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
But when I came here and saw that the pace of life was a little bit more humane, there was more space to operate. I liked the attitude of the people. I decided to settle here. So I had 4 jobs. All three were in the south, but this NTA one was here. So I decided to stay here. That's one.
Okay.
Anywhere people find favor.
Yes.
My wife is from the north. She's from Kogi
Kogi
State.
State. Yes.
I came here and found a partner. So that could be another reason
Married.
why people want to settle in a place
Like
where your family has sent down taproot or putting them to go to another place may be a problem.
Yes.
For some, it could be for reasons of health reasons.
That's very correct.
Some places are dustier than the others.
Yes.
Some places are colder than others. I and my wife, when we travel, we try not to travel around the winter period.
Wow.
Because it's cold.
It's cold.
Aha. So these are the factors that could cause people to move. The Easterners who came here. One, the East has the largest uh, population density. There is very limited land. If you go to Onitsha, you see that the expansion is skywards,
Wow.
and not
level.
not aha. So people who come here because of their trade, then you see that they're coming here to sell spare parts. Then the Northerners who go to the East, they are traders who take onions, who take tomatoes, who take livestock.
Wow.
And they are settled there. I have some Hausa friends who speak Igbo. They've lived there all their lives. They are there in Okigwe. They are there in Enugu. They are there. They don't. I met some in Calabar.
For business.
Yes, I met some in Calabar. If you go to and you find some Westerners too, who were involved in taxi driving. When I came to Bauchi, all the taxi drivers were Yoruba.
Yoruba, yes.
You know.
That's
So,
correct. So it's evident, and thank you so much for that. Now, Dr. Moji, mommy, please. Sorry about the cough. It's there. We are human.
It's right.
It came unexpected. Now, I want to come to you from a point that you just raised. And myself, I'm a co-guide, and I'm happy that here I have a mother. So it's a privilege now to be able to explore and see how I can leverage on the information I'll be getting, and I believe my audience will do the same. Daddy is from the East, and he has said that one of the factors which bring many persons to the North could be finding a partner. And here we're talking about family. So as a co-guide and as a Northerner, what was the cultural difficulties? Let me not make it that way, but I believe most times as Nigerians, sorry, in Nigeria, when two parties are coming in for matrimonial reasons, there are many cultural here and there that plays out. So, mommy, I want you to tell us what was those difficulties accepting daddy both as a northerner and as an individual in relation to culture and values even.
In relation to culture, when we first met, I realized that I would say Southerners take life too seriously, and everything is too.
It's with full mind.
Yeah, in the North, it's not that hard because you take one day at a time.
Yes.
So, but when I met Andy, an Igbo man, in fact, if he would tell you, one of the first things that I said I would not marry an Igbo person.
Wow.
So I ended up marrying him, but he he he's not a typical. When I say typical, he's an Igbo man through and through.
Okay.
But maybe he does not have the killer instinct of the Igbo business people.
Wow.
But another thing is when you get to know an Igbo man
Yeah.
in terms of marriage,
Yeah.
the way they take care of their wives is different from the way Northerners take care of their wives.
Very different.
Because they pay you attention, they care for what you care for, and you are given space to grow. He just gave an example of the furniture woman. She just came, she finished secondary school, but her husband gave her room to grow,
Wow.
which is not the same in the North. The man feels he has to be the all in all.
All in all.
So even if a wife is working, her money does not or did not used to count. So she can be buying wrappers and gold, but she will not be part of decision making. But for the Igbo family, the woman is part of the decision making. You are given a space to grow. You are encouraged to grow. For some time, it started showing that a lot of Igbo traders, like even in Bakinkura here, they send their wives to university, even if they didn't go.
Wow.
PhD.
They would do up to PhD, and the wife would get educated and come and manage the business. So culturally, in the beginning, it was kind of shock, but I got used to it. And another cultural thing is food,
Yeah.
and he's very picky about food. But in bringing up our children, we brought them up universal, so to say.
Yeah.
So the thumb rule in our family is whatever you see on the table, eat it. But he doesn't eat. Most of the things we eat, he wouldn't eat it, but we eat it anyway.
Wow.
So that culture, but with time, like now, the things he never thought you could eat, he's eating it. So when you are a family, you blend.
Yes.
And when the children go out and come back, the things they see from outside, they want to eat masa. So if you don't want to eat masa, like we all like me on cooker.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
when we're eating it, you do his face, but we like it, so we just eat it.
Yeah.
So with time, culture, when you're in a relationship that you value
Yeah.
and you want to last and grow, you
You adapt.
you grow, you adapt.
You adapt.
So before you know it, now you can't come to this house and say it's a southern house or a northern house
Wow.
because we're all mixed up.
Wow.
So we're, like you say, urban culture.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I
My,
think.
my children greet the Yoruba way, which I like.
Wow.
They don't like the Igbos who
We'll
they,
handshake
they, they,
directly.
they bend, you know.
This is wonderful. And the evident thing now is I'm looking behind and I'm seeing your children married and I'm seeing white
And
faces.
culturalizing
Yeah. Not to begin a different session, I've seen that you have been able to promote inter. I can't even give a word. I don't know whether it's just ethnic, it's just religious, it's just.
So for us, it's not about where you're from, it's who you are. So when our children bring somebody, it's not, oh, who is he? Who is his father? Where is he from? But who the person is as a person. What values does he have? So we're not racist.
Wow.
If you meet somebody that you like, we'll watch him and we'll have your back.
Wow.
So color, yeah, color looks different when you see the
Our
picture,
first daughter is married to a
but
British person.
we integrate.
Our son is
Integrate.
married to a Turkish girl.
Wow. And how has this in any way it has reflected? And I can see that you are both happy that they went that far.
Eh, we're just happy that they're content and they're happy.
Yeah, happy.
If they're in a happy relationship, regardless of where the spouse is from, the major thing is to be happy and there's mutual respect.
Wow.
Let me tell you something.
All right, sir.
When I met my wife,
Yes, sir.
and some of my uncles and relations felt the war had just ended, and we both were going to marry a northerner Yoruba person and all that. But my parents had lived in the north
Okay.
and lived in the west.
Wow.
So when we got married and they saw how wonderful the relationship was, my immediate younger brother said he wanted to marry, and he wanted to marry an Urobo girl. My mother said, if she is like Moji,
Yes, sir.
bring her in. That's how
Wow.
my brother is today, married to an Urobo girl. My last brother wanted to marry, and it was a Cherokee American, the original Indian American.
Wow.
And my mother said, if she's like Moji,
Wow.
bring her in. She married that. My my eldest brother,
Yeah.
the daughter, wanted to marry a Mexican American.
Wow.
And my mother said, if it's like
Like
Moji, let her come in. My immediate younger brother, the son, wanted to marry a woman from Czech Republic. And my mother said, if it's like Moji.
Wow.
So we have marriages across the only continent the Ihemes are not in now is Australia.
That is wonderful. Seriously, I think I have to put this out there that don't be limited by demography.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
allow it.
Yeah.
So looking at this narrative, this story, I think personally I am moved. And I think I'll consider stepping out of Kogi State for matrimonial reasons. So thank you so much, Doctor, and thank you so much, Mommy. So now looking at all of this from family to career, and now we are talking about culture. I would love to still make that platform available because this is just YouTube to talk to our audience. What are those strategies? What are those insights they need to start adopting, even from the level they are, to start looking at beyond your family cycle, beyond your own state, beyond your country? There is power in stepping out, be it your culture, be it your understanding as an individual and your orientation. What are those advice as per strategies, let me put it that way, that you would love to extend to our audience to look into, especially when it comes to maintaining your own culture and accepting that of other persons?
Thank you very much. I think it's very important for people to first appreciate the fact that we are humans
Yes.
before you can begin to segment people. There is nobody in this world who chose where he comes from. We all just happened to be Hausa, Yoruba, Igbo, Englishman, Hausa, just name it. So our humanity is very, very critical in doing that. And I have realized that when you bring in two cultures, the result is usually better than a single culture because you have taken the best of the two parts.
And brought them together.
If you watch my children, there are aspects of my children that are Yoruba.
Okay.
When they greet, they show more respect. They go down, they go down, they bow, they won't, they girls. When I went to marry, I had to learn to dobale like the Yorubas. And you should now look at them too in terms of the fact that their mother is from the north. They have adopted certain approach to life that is not as serious like you said. They're a little bit more relaxed with life. So you find out that there is an amalgam, there is a confluence of cultures coming together, and these are the Nigerians who will unite this country. There's a limit to which you criticize the Yorubas in front of my son.
Wow.
There's Yoruba in him, so he can't take it. There's a limit to which you can criticize the North in front of EJ. My daughter has an NGO, and the NGO, all that the NGO is doing is in Bauchi.
Wow.
They have spent millions empowering women and doing all that. She didn't say she's from Imo. It's Bauchi, she knows. And that's where she is carrying out all her functions. So, what I'm telling people is don't limit yourself by restricting yourself to where you come from. The way it is now, for me as Andy Iheme, I cannot be stranded in Nigeria because I have one leg in the north where I have relations. I have one leg among the Yorubas from the Okun area of Kwara State where I have a leg. So it's difficult for me, almost impossible for me to be stranded because I'm a pan-Nigerian. I have a broad outlook of Nigeria, and that is what has informed my well-being in Bauchi, where I've lived well here without getting into problem with everybody, because I accept the people here and they accept me.
That's wonderful. I think this is getting really serious, and I'm learning a lot this evening. Thank you so much, Doctor, for sharing this insight. Nigeria is a multilingual and multi-ethnic or cultural environment, and for persons who are Nigerians, the message is clear. Don't be limited by your locality. Don't just be there as a co-guide. Let me start from my own state. Don't just be there as an Edo man or a Edo woman. So step out. We are looking at transforming the country, and this cannot be done just by being who you are. It takes you stepping out, connect with people, share ideas, go as far as even sacrificing. And this is where we now bring back sacrifice. Doctor, I believe in this whole space, from family to work and to even culture, there are some peculiar sacrifice to achieving some of these successes I'm seeing. It's evident on the wall. I want to ask, let me start with Momi. Um, there's never a time you achieve something new or something profound that there's no peculiar sacrifice. Sometimes it is even, everybody can see it, but it is specific for you who has achieved it. So my question or my quest here now is this: what are those sacrifices internal sacrifice that you have considered that many persons from Kogi State will not make, but you have made those sacrifice to sustain family, work, and culture?
I wouldn't know about what many people in Kogi would not sacrifice.
Okay.
But if it's your family, um, in as a person, what comes first for you? For me, after God, it's my family.
It's family.
I'll do anything
Wow.
for my family.
Wow.
If my children are in any kind of distress or anything, they reach out to me, they know I'll do anything
Anything.
to get it. I'll go the extra mile. And when we're talking of sacrifice, or we're still talking of culture, when you learn to put aside your things that you know well and look at other people's own, you discover that there are some good. I'm going to veer into food now. Like there's a lot of where when I was growing up, when we're eating soup, is maybe okra, we always have stew. But I now discover the Igbo soup is richer and tastes
Better.
better.
All right.
But when I'm going to cook an Igbo soup, I put a touch of Hausa and I put
Hausa.
a touch of Yoruba.
Wow.
And they, the Igbos, like it better.
Wow.
So that's one. And then in culture, like Yoruba people, like when you marry and you have a child, it's your mother that will come.
Yes.
But for Igbos, it's the mother of the wife,
That comes.
which makes more sense if you look at it. What is the mother going to do? She's supposed to help the woman who has just given birth to a baby.
Yes.
So a mother, I can bathe my daughter. She can be free with me, but can she be free with her mother-in-law? So those are the kind of things you give up. You look at it, like my son is married now. If his wife is having a child, when he was talking, I said, I think your mother-in-law
Yeah.
has the first say in this baby, which is not what would normally have happened.
Exactly.
So when you look at things, you weigh there's a good and bad, and when you take the better of the two, you get a hybrid, something that works better
Better.
for everybody.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate this angle you came from. I'm super excited, not for anything, because I happen to love the idea that when two forces from different environment come together, it's a propeller for a lot of other things. So it's wonderful. And this brings us to this area where I would love to maybe get your insight. Now, our team is finding the balance between family, culture, and career, the perfect blend. So that I want to ask, in your own little way and in your wholehearted response, let me put it that way, have you found rather that perfect blend in everything?
I wouldn't say I have, but I've found a blend that is working.
Okay.
Yes, there is nothing perfect about it. There is still room for improvement.
Wow.
But I have found out that they are involved in a web.
Okay.
Uh, you need good career to support a family, and you need a good cultural regime for your family to work. So that connection must be understood. Um, yes, family is everything, but I need to work.
Yes.
Both of us, my wife and myself, we need to work to support our families. I went on retirement before her, and in Nigerian system, for 1 year you are not paid anything. She was the one who was feeding the house
Wow.
because for 1 year I didn't earn any salary. Now she has retired, and my small pension is what we are also using to run the house. So there is this blend
Blend.
that comes in with career. When I was doing my PhD, I mean my master's, I got to a point where, look, I just said, look, what I've gotten to there. I was the deputy registrar. What am I bothering myself? I had done all my exams and passed well, but the project, my wife said, you can't give up now. You have used our top money to pay school fees, so we must finish this masters. We got together and put my research things together. And when she was also doing her her master's and her PhD, I was like her editor,
Yeah.
editing the same way she did with me because we wanted to promote our careers. And to God be the glory that we got to the peak in our careers and we're able to look after our families better.
Wow.
Now, in the area of culture, we have had to, like I said, she has just mentioned a few of them. We have this family is one place where we have picked the best from all parts of the world because we have been privileged to travel. Um, the food we eat is a reflection of what we represent.
Yes.
Even the way we dress is a reflection of the way our parlor and the house is configured is a reflection of the places we've gone to. Culture is defined as the way you do things. That's your culture. So you cannot say my culture in this house is Igbo, and you cannot say it's Yoruba or Hausa. Is a confluence, is an amalgam of all of them. And I like my wife called it a hybrid.
Hybrid.
You know, the culture works. We have adopted the idea of when you are entering the carpet, you remove your shoes.
Yes.
I think is a better thing because people sit on that carpet.
Yes.
I didn't come with that idea from the east.
From the
No, we the Hausas and the Yorubas will eat their swallow in the evening and eat rice in the afternoon. The Igbos is the other way. They will eat swallow in the afternoon and rice, something later in the evening.
evening.
Here we have adopted the Igbo one because it makes more sense in the evening. You should eat light.
Light.
Aha. And like I said earlier, the way my children greet, you will know that
You know that
they'll answer Obina EJ, but when they greet you, you'll be wondering where they come from because they greet like the Yorubas. And the way even food is served, the Hausa and the Yorubas eat their swallow and soup in one plate. The Igbos will eat in two plates. The soup is separate. My children eat with one plate. My wife sometimes two plates, sometimes one plate. The Yorubas eat a lot of moi moi and things, and my wife has brought that variety of. So we cook. We have a Yoruba food here. We eat masa. We eat what is it? Kwete. We eat all kinds of things, which you will not find So we have more variety of food in this house.
Wow.
Than the average Nigerian home when you go to. Yeah.
Wow, this is lovely. Thank you so much. Quickly, as we move forward, I would love to put it out there to our viewers. Please don't forget to follow us on the social medias. We are just there at Beyond the Books, uh, and you can get us on all the media handles. To get to us, it's simple. Just click on the link of any of our social media handle, and you can join us live. So thank you for staying with us. As we forge ahead, maybe I love to still continue with you. Mommy, I will come right away. Now, as somebody who has been an erudite personality, you have achieved extreme grounds in the public relations space. I still want to ask, what at this level, after having retired and now you are just taking your time to enjoy all the struggles of life, what do you have as a message from that end to persons who are still in the space practicing? How do you feel they should now, looking at the current trend, there's a difference in the generation. When you serve, it's so different from what is evident these days. So how do you now put it out there for them to still be able, with the struggles of life of this era, balance between these three areas: family, life, and sorry, family, career, and culture?
I think there is a need to retool,
Okay.
both intellectually and in terms of equipment.
Okay.
When I went to school, I graduated, my first degree was in 1978. We didn't have computers,
Wow.
you know. But when I was working as a director of public relations in the university, incidentally, my wife taught me how to use the computer. She
Oh,
taught me,
wow.
the computer. So, and I was the national training director of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations.
Wow.
I was the one who insisted that all presentations should be done on PowerPoint. So I learned to do PowerPoint.
Wow.
I had to retool to be able to do that. That's one. They need to retool.
Okay.
I told the people in my workers then that all those small touchlight phones they were using, they were no longer acceptable in the office. They have to go for either iPhone or for Android.
For Android. Yes.
Because from your workplace, from where I send you to cover an event, you can write your story and send straight to the
The
newspaper.
newspaper.
From where you're working, you can send pictures. There's no doctor without a stethoscope.
Yes.
So you must have a good, a good quality communication gadget to do your work well. So there is a need to retool for you to be able to do that. And these days it's not a matter of working hard, because if you work hard, either your family will suffer or even your career will suffer. It is an era of working smart, ability to delegate, ability to. Well, look at the number of you who have come here to do this simple thing.
Yes.
When we were in television, I and my wife, it's just the reporter and the cameraman, wasn't it? And they had to do everything, carry the light and all that. But you see, when you work together as a team, you produce a better result. In fact, in academic circles now, publishers hardly accept paper written by one person. They prefer that papers are written by a team of people because you have a better perspective. So teamwork is extremely important for you to be able to combine, make sure your career, your family, and your culture does not suffer. Teamwork, working smart, retooling intellectually and in terms of equipment. All these things are basic if you don't want any of these areas to suffer. Of course, your health, very, very, very critical. Health, very, very critical. Eat right, do some exercise. Like I say, walking right. You have to. Digital watches are all over the place now.
Yes.
You want to count how many steps you have taken in a day. You want to know how your heartbeat is working. So these are some of the routine like this now. My wife is wearing one.
Yes.
We try to do 10,000 steps a day.
I did.
Yes, in order to keep healthy.
Wow.
So these are basics.
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate that. Now, Dr. Ma, I want to ask, having been an individual who has been in the space of theater arts with a first degree at that from Ahmadu Bello University, and then you shifted to industrial design. Even at that level, you even moved to getting your PhD in that regard. Now, please, what would be your advice for our viewers and to young persons out there taking the same trajectory? How would you advise them, especially with the shift, to be able to cope with, first of all, picking a particular career, getting to somewhere different, and then being able to sustain yourself as a woman, particularly as a woman, for this long one?
Um, I would say you first of all follow your heart. They say your mind.
Your mind.
There are things you have passion for. If you feel so much about it, you do it.
Okay.
I did theater arts as a first course, as my first degree,
Wow.
because I just did it. Not that I was passionate about it or anything.
Okay.
It was there. I finished my SBS and okay, and they were just starting theater arts, and I did it because it was Department of English. I wanted to do English language, but they say, oh, theater arts is more professional. Okay, so we did it.
Wow.
But when I finished, it was the theater arts that I was able to work with NTA.
Okay.
Then after so many years, I came to ATBU. I was employed as I was working. Professor Naala told me, you came with your first degree. Don't leave with your first degree. Make sure you go beyond that. And I thank him very much for that. And I wanted to do my master's. I said I was going to do industrial design. And they said, there are some O-level courses or undergraduate courses that you should have done before you can do your master's. I said, I'll do it.
Wow.
They thought I was joking. I did statistics. I actually hate maths. I think, about 35 units, credit
Wow.
units. I was going into lecture with 100 level, 200 level, 300 level while I was there, technologists taking them on. Yeah. So I did all this because I was determined to change. I wanted to take a step out of my comfort zone. And industrial design did it for me, the media communication. And I applied myself. I thought I learned computer. And if you want something, you just go for it.
Wow.
Don't look at the downs. Don't look at the obstacles. The obstacles are just stepping stones for me.
Yeah.
So, and I had promised myself that if I do a master's degree, I will do a PhD.
Wow.
Because what's the point of a master's? Your title doesn't
It
change.
doesn't change.
And I didn't realize how strong that is till I finished my PhD.
Wow.
People who knew me now, I mean, they were not calling me doctor. Suddenly, doctor. I'm still Moji now. I say, it's not easy to be doctor. So if you want to do something, there's nothing, I believe it, there's nothing you cannot do.
Yeah.
You can, from theater arts, read medicine.
You had a lesson
Because
teacher.
the older you are, the more matured your brain is, your thinking. Yes, when I was doing statistics, because I hated math, I had a lesson teacher. My children used to laugh at me. Mommy, your lesson teacher has come. I say, okay.
Wow.
Even my classmates that were doing masters, you say, you got lesson teacher? I say, yeah. So when I passed and they failed, they saw why I got lesson teacher.
Wow.
So when you want to do something, go for it. Whatever you need to do legitimately that will get you where you're going. It's the suffering is just for a while.
I want you guys to really go into this conversation. The discussion has been very, very engaging. Mommy has shed light on how you should focus on what you want. There's a saying that continuous effort, not just your strength or your intelligence, is the key to unlocking your potential. Keep it going, keep the ball rolling. For those of us in the public relations space, Doctor has also said, you're a tool, right, Daddy?
Yeah.
You're a tool.
Oh, yeah.
And they say new challenges they demand new approach.
You
Yeah.
So
update
retool
yourself.
and be more proactive. So this is all trying to say nothing is impossible. We just keep driving. So we are coming to the end of the session. Thank you so much. But then as we move forward, I would love to really call my my daddy and a mentor now. I would love to start from this end. That is, some days back, you gifted me this book, and
Yeah.
I'm very, very happy.
Yeah.
I've gone through it quickly, not entirely, and there are many things that this book put out there for us. For my viewers, this is it, Public Relations Toolbox. Believe me, you can bank on this book to go far. And I want you guys not just to get it and devour it. It will, it will do a lot for you. Very quickly, not to dwell so much on it. There's a part I was going through when I saw something about special events. And you said special events are the platform for you to be able to market, or sorry, to go, let me just not use market, but to thrive as an individual. So now looking at life, looking at family, looking at culture, looking at career. When you say special events, is this those kind of special events? I just want you to throw more light so
Yes.
that our audience can buy from this.
Special event is anything that is not part of routine,
Okay,
and it's planned and
okay,
it has a budget.
okay,
You know, so naming ceremony of the family, convocation ceremony, the annual general meetings, people. What we are doing now is a special event because it's planned.
yes,
It's not by mistake it happened.
yes, that's true.
Now we use special events to project a lot of things. When people do naming ceremony, sometimes it may just look as if you're using it to name your child.
Yes.
But somebody may just come in and say, "Oh, I like this your chair in your parlor. Where did you make it?"
Yeah.
So you could use it to market things. If you're a painter and your painting is on the wall, somebody say, "Oh, I like this painting. Where did you do it?" "Oh, this the painting. Who painted? Who did your POP?" So you can use special events to make statements.
Yes.
We can use special events to change narratives.
That is correct.
Somebody who doesn't really know who you are, he sees you outside. The moment he visits your house, you are doing a naming ceremony. He comes to you and says, you live here? You said yes. His perception of you may change immediately
Yes.
because of what he has seen by the reason of the special event. So, special event is a tool we use in public relations to make statements,
Right.
but it's like a two-edged sword. If you don't handle it well, it may demarket you.
Market you.
So you got to be careful to make sure, since it is planned and it has a budget, that it is properly done, so that you can use that to make progress.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I think this is you telling me go and read more, and I'll do that. I think if I should add to what you said in our own little way as young person, it's back to branding.
Yes.
Using every tool
Yes.
to brand yourself.
Oh, yes.
I think I get the idea.
Oh,
I believe
yes.
we all got it.
Oh, yes.
So, Daddy, we are coming to the end of the session. Mommy, thank you for having us. I would love to just allow us to still give a little word, one word, as a take home for our audience. I think, Daddy, you start first, then Mommy consolidate on that.
Well, I want to talk to the youths of this generation.
Yes, sir.
You are a brand. You are a brand. You represent a brand. The way you talk, the way you dress, the way you relate with people, all the circumstances around you speak of one thing. So you must be careful the way you package yourself, the way you present yourself, because one mistake you make could be the misconception they have about your tribe. You could start a stereotype by the reason of the way you talk, by the reason of the way you dress. If your name is David, they say, David, which David? They say, that one that doesn't dress well. That is your brand. That becomes your brand. So please, see yourself, carry yourself as a brand anywhere you are. You are not just a good on the shelf without a name. You have a name, and your name is your character. Your name is the way you look, the way you smell, and the way you go about your things. So please, from now henceforth, what I'm telling you now is see yourself as a brand. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Daddy. Please be a brand. Be a brand. So, Mommy, please quickly, your take home for our audience.
You can make it. You can be whatever it is you want to be. If you're a content creator, you can make it to the very top. Age does not matter. When you started does not matter. But if you're determined in yourself that this is what I'm going to be, you'll get there. No matter, everybody around may be more qualified than you, but there may be just that one thing. So if you hold on to it, you can be what you want to be, regardless of where you're from, your culture, the level of education. Education is good, but you can lift yourself out of any married life.
Thank you so much. When there are two doctors in the house, the rest of us are students. So please, I don't want to say more than this. The job has been done. Find a balance between life and career, and then consolidate with a good culture. I think this is the message. I don't want to rebrand the team, but find this balance between family and career. Culture will play through, right? So, guys, at this point, we don't have all the time. I think we'll be having more of this episode coming, and this engagement is a continued one. So, expect more from us. The book is still with me here. Me, I'm a book lover, and I would love to call on all of us to go and get our copy. Doctor is here for those of us that want to get it directly. You can communicate us with communicating. But for those that would love to get it online, there's a link on the book here. I will put it out there on our media. But for me to give it out just quickly, it states bizpagesing.com.ng, and this spells BIZPAGESNIG.
Yeah, that's my publisher in Port Harcourt.
Port Harcourt. So please, for quick and swift availability of the, just reach out through any of our media handles. And for those that have questions, comments, and concerns, please put them across. That is always available, and Mommy is also here. So we'll always do the due diligence. Thank you for staying with us to this very hour. Our work was to get you this forehand information as to what life in terms of family, in terms of career, in terms of culture is all about. So thank you for being with us. Don't forget to follow us on our handles at Beyond the Books, and we are always there to respond. So thank you for being with us. We hope to see you on more of this episode. You all have a good evening.
Usman's words that we all hear. Jamila dreams under the moon. Zubaida sings our favorite tune. In this talk show we all shine. Every heart with every line. From Mackenzie to Jay's cheer.